One pitfall I see when women are implementing what they've learned from Laura Doyle's Empowered Wife or the Surrendered Wife is taking too much responsibility for their husband's moods and internalizing too much. So if your husband is grumpy, he's stressed, he's just, not at his best self, it's always important to be self-reflective, assess your behavior. Were you being controlling, critical? Were you being overly helpful, getting disrespectful, being motherly? And Laura Doyle goes through all this in her book. So if you do all that, maybe you need to issue an apology. You clean up your side of the street. I apologize for being disrespectful when I told you how to do this. Something like that. So you clean up your side of the street. And then you just have to recognize your husband has a life outside of you. You are not the only source of stress in his life. Hopefully, you're not a major source of stress in his life. And he could be dealing with work stress. He could not be feeling well. You don't need to pry and dig at him to tell you what's going on. You can give him space. You can do what you need to do to be at your best self. Do the self-care you need, because it is so refreshing for a man to come from a stressful work environment to come home to a wife who is there to greet him with a hug and a kiss and lightens up the mood, the room, versus kind of feeding off each other's energy and kind of just bringing each other down. So we all have bad days. We all have external things going on. So it's super helpful to recognize it's not all about you. You're not the main source of stress in your husband's life, hopefully, especially if you're practicing the intimacy skills. And your husband's mood is on his paper. And you should be, keeping your side of the street clean, practicing the intimacy skills, but you should not be trying to walk on eggshells, doing things to prevent him from being upset, to pacify him. That gets into doormat territory. And I have a video, Empowered Wives Aren't Doormats, and I suggest that you watch that for some more information, as well as following me on Patreon and Facebook, Hope for a Better Marriage. So it's not all about you. It's not always, we don't have to think oh, is it my fault when he's upset? Clean up your side of the street, do your self-care, bring that gala fun and light, try not to, you can be okay even when your husband is dealing with some stress in his life, and vice versa. If we're healthy, we can be grounded and not be dragged down by each other's moods.